Well, good morning. And this is the third time I've actually said good morning. It's the third time I did this scene. I know I say I don't do retakes, but I had to. We're a little later this morning because I was spending a bit of time upgrading my camera with the new firmware that came out today. That's what I was alluding to yesterday. And the new firmware basically to me means that I will be able to shoot at 8K 60 frames a second. So that's what I was trying to do. And first time I set the camera for everything at its very best. The best it could possibly do. And it ran for about 45 seconds and then automatically shut down. And so I thought, well, let's change it to 8K 60 normal instead of 8K 60 best. Well, it ran for almost 2 minutes and then shut down. So we're back to where we was, which is actually pretty good until I get my problem sorted out. But probably 99% of you could care less about that. We did come back to the model table yesterday. And we painted the propellers with Andy's paint. And we did the panel line color on this one boat. And we ended up last night by saying we'll see how it looks in the morning. So anyway, what else is new today? I noticed that the carrot is gone that I put out earlier this morning. And that was the last carrot. Yeah, and grocery day isn't for another 2 days yet, so the rabbits are going to have to eat the real rabbit food tomorrow. They must have been hungry because that carrot disappeared really fast. And anyhow, now about the birds and the bird feeder. I was talking about the bird feeder yesterday. Well, I turn on my computer and I'm looking at the news, and here comes across the screen that the Manitoba Wildlife Federation, or whatever they call themselves here, has requested that we take our bird feeders down because the birds are spreading this new flu. At least that's the bottom line. Yeah, so we'll have to look into that. Yeah, no sunrise this morning. Nope, sorry. Well, let's get on with this and roll back and see how we got to this place. Probably about half an hour ago now, I just finished painting the remaining 7 of our little boats. And I'm just waiting now for this number 19 to dry. And each one of these little boats has a propeller. Now, if you remember, I'm pretty sure it was Andy from Andy's Photo Etch Bender recommended that I get some flat brass, which I did. And my plan is to try and paint these little propellers. Let me zoom you in a little bit. With the flat brass, and they are, these little propellers, they are so tiny. Yeah, right now they're kind of smothered in gray paint, but I think that if I can get some brass on there, now in all likelihood we're not going to be seeing too much of them anyway, but it'd be kind of fun to see, you know, can we get this tester's flat brass on there. Yeah, that's sort of the last step, I believe, before we start the hull. Actually, that's not true. After we do that, I had wanted to take some of the panel line color here, probably the dark brown or maybe the black, and see if we can highlight some of the detail in the decking on some of these boats. It might be a good idea, it might not. It seems to never end. I'm never going to get at the hull. I'm guessing a couple of hours has passed here now. And our number 19 gray, I'm pretty sure, is about as shrink wrapped as it's going to get. It may not be 100% cured, but I think it's probably 99% cured. It's good enough to anyway to put on Andy's flat brass here. Now, let me zoom you in a bit. Okay, the idea is that when I put the macro lens on later, and when I rotate this thing around, the propeller will always stay in the field of view. And that way I can get in nice and close, because if I don't put the macro lens on, you're hardly going to be able to see it. Okay, I know that the foreground and the background might be a little bit blurry, but the propeller itself should be fairly sharp. Now, I've never used this kind of paint before. I don't know how it's going to go on. We just want to kind of make it a little bit kind of gold. I don't know if it dries quickly. I guess I should have tested it out, right? Trying not to touch anything else. Now I know that there is another blade right underneath there, but I don't know if I can get to it without touching the... Well, how's that look? I think it improves it. We'll see what it looks like when it's dry. All right, let's stick another one on. Let's try and do the smallest one. Well, I wanted to see what that looked like, because believe it or not, the macro lens shows it even better than what I'm seeing right now. And it does not look good when you look at it with the macro lens. Now, mind you, a bit of time has passed here, and this thing has, I don't know if it's dry. It's probably not dry, but yeah, it does look better than it did half an hour ago after I just finished. I don't know if I'm going to continue to use it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to check and see if there's any pigments stuck on the bottom of this. I shook it up in my paint shaker for about 3 minutes, and I thought that's probably more than enough, but I did not put anything to the bottom and stir it. So let's just do that just for the fun of it. I haven't done it yet, so this is going to be news to both of us. Well, let me recompose here. Now, just a moment here before I set this down. I did give it a little bit of a shake. Now, this is that mini Q-tip that we used from Tennessee Jim. I just cut the end off it that we're not going to use anymore. Now, let's just see what we got here on the bottom. No, I'm not feeling anything. No, it was shook up. I guess that's just the way it is. I guess that's just the way it is. There's no sludge on the bottom there. Okay, well, we checked. Okay, we are viewing this thing right now about the same way we would if we were to put our nose right up against the glass on my case and just get right in there. And that would be only if you had really good vision at close range or were wearing your strong reading glasses. Yeah, that's about the same type of view we're getting. And when you view it from a little ways back, it doesn't look too bad. It's just when you get close in that you can see, the carrier that all that pigment was floating around in. It was so clear, and you could actually see the propeller through it. At least I could when I was viewing it there in the computer. I think I'm going to continue to use it because, like I say, at normal viewing distance, it does give the illusion of being a brass propeller. And that's what we want. It doesn't have to be the real thing. It just has to give you the feeling that you're looking at the real thing. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do the other 5 boats. I know earlier I had said 7 boats. Well, that's because there is 8 altogether, but 2 of them were those really small ones that go on top of the turrets, and they don't have propellers. So, yeah, there's only 5 more of these to do. Now it seems to me I had said we'll do the smallest one. So that's this one here. Probably getting it in places where I shouldn't. It just doesn't want to stay on the tips, but like I say, from further back, okay, let's leave well enough alone here. You can sort of see the copper glinting at a distance. Okay, they are about as done as I'm going to do them. Alright, let's let that dry and then let's get some panel line color where there's detail. I don't know, is it going to work very good on these, I wonder? Okay, we'll try it on this boat first. And I'm just a little bit concerned that it could wick its way up the side and down and over the gunnel and down the side. I don't think that will happen, but it could. And I'm going to use the dark brown here. Maybe I should use a paintbrush instead of the applicator, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get most of the, I don't want to flood it on. Now I know when we did it in this area on the boats on the Hood, it did come out quite nice. Now, would it be a good idea to just go along and try and maybe see if it'll bring out the ribs? Let's just try it. I mean, okay, I think because I've got the staining going on here, maybe it'd be a good idea to just do all of it. And then I'll take a Q-tip oh, maybe I won't. Oh, I got it on the motor. Well, maybe it'll dry. I think it will make it look more realistic. Maybe I'll just let it dry like that. You know, it's darkened the deck tan. Now, for those of you who do this sort of thing all the time, you already knew exactly what was going to happen. I very, very rarely use this kind of stuff. But I do think that it probably looks better than it did. I guess one way to find out is just okay, let's quit poking at it here. You know, get the other one that hasn't been done and put them side by side. So we'll let that dry overnight, and then we'll see how it looks in the morning. Just trying to get the excess there. You know, I don't mind that it's pooled in the cracks, like around where the ribs are and so on. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Okay, let's check it in the morning. See you in the morning. Well, it is morning, and our pound line color is dried here. And I'm just sort of wondering if instead of using the dark brown, I had have maybe used the black. Would it be a little bit more definitive? Because if we take the other boat, there's not a huge difference. So I'm thinking that for the fun of it, let's just do this one with the black. Yeah. Get it nice and level there. All right. Maybe I'll try and get in a little closer. I was noticing that when I did this one here that I wasn't in as close as I probably could have been. Now, I could be wrong here, but I don't think I've ever used the black here before, and I was about to put it on. I noticed I got what appears to be a little hair or something right there. Yeah. Just hang on a second. Okay. Because something like that would really show up. All right, here we go with the black. This might be a mistake, but that's the way it goes. Now I don't want it to run down the sides. Ooh. See if I can maybe swab some of that off there. This sort of gives it kind of a a used look, doesn't it? Yeah, if I turn it around like this, you can see this gunnel being done as well. You know, this XF paint is very, very porous, so it's absorbing this. I don't want it to go running down the hull. We'll check and see if that happened later. Alright, I think we've got it pretty much everywhere evenly. I don't know if I should take my my Q-tip here and try and rub some of that off or not. I don't think so. I think I'm just going to let it dry. I didn't realize that I'd moved this thing out of the way. Oh, I see what happened. Okay, well, at least I didn't get it on the motor this time. Okay, let's let that dry and see if it's any better. Okay, obviously the one on the right here is the one we did in black. And I'm actually liking it better than the one we did in the dark brown. It appears, at first glance, it appears to be more, I don't know, you see the detail at first glance better. Now when you start looking close, you can realize that I should have done a better job of getting the panel line color along the edges here. It's a little bit, you might say, blotchy. It's not quite as clear as it could have been. But I'm thinking maybe what I'm going to quickly do is I'm just going to go and I'm going to do this one also in black. But let's see how it would do on one of the steamboats. Okay, I've been doing some experimenting here. And I was using a little brush instead of a Q-tip to remove the excess. Now, here again, what we're trying to do is just darken the deck tan and bring out the defining lines. I don't want it to be going up the gray, but I'm trying to darken the deck tan. I think it looks better darker. Now that's just my opinion. Oops, I'm kind of going over the edge there. That's not good. I don't want to have to redo the hull. Okay. Okay, now, I wonder if I should maybe do it up here too. There is sort of a, what is supposed to be, I guess, a handrail across the top there. Alright, now, here's what I did. Took my brush here. I've got two like this, so if I ruin this one, I just use the brush to absorb the extra. Oh, I'm getting it on the gray there though. That's, well, maybe that'll dry. Gonna have to clean out the brush a little bit here. Now, maybe this brush idea is not a good idea, because what's happening is it's removing the dark panel line color from where it goes around the details, if you know what I mean. But to me, it's sort of giving the deck a bit of a weathered look. I don't know. Maybe this was not a good idea. I think it sort of looks better. Yeah, I think it sort of looks better. We'll let that dry. Anyway, we'll look at it tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.